Hey, what's up, Street Talk? This is Eric from the Eric from Street Photography blog. So I want to just give you guys a quick video on some ideas of motivation. So the idea is basically spurn pleasing others. So I'm going to go on a nice little walk. Currently just moved into our new apartment in Kyoto. So yeah, I always find that, you know, when I'm walking and I'm moving, this is actually when my thoughts are the best. So treat it like we're going to go on a nice walk and have a nice chat. If the bounciness of the video makes you nauseated, just listen to the audio. So the basic idea is spurn pleasing others. So the word spurn means to disdain or to disregard or to hate pleasing other people. And the reason why this is important is that in today's world and just humanity in general, we're kind of hardwired in our DNA to please others, because if you didn't please others, you would be expelled from the tribe, you might die of starvation, and essentially that wouldn't be fun. So, and also not only that, but most of us, if you grew up Christian or Catholic or Protestant, or just kind of grew up in the West, we're pretty affected by Christian morality, which is like, you know, sacrifice yourself for the sake of the collective and don't think about yourself. That's being selfish. Also, I think if you're Asian, like, this is like kind of the Confucian mentality as well. So I think the big issue about this is that when we try to please other people too much, we end up just being generic. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you want to stand out in today's world, you cannot be generic. There's so many different schools of thought. I mean, basically my thinking is that the weirder you are, the more you stand out, the better in today's world, because in some ways humans, we hate the, how do I say this? As humans, we hate people who go against the status quo, people who do things differently than what we're used to and accustomed to. But at the same time, we hate boring people. So it's kind of a catch-22, is that like, if you're too generic and you're like everybody else, you're gonna fail. But at the same time, if you're too different, you're also gonna quote-unquote fail. And essentially, I think this is the secret, is that before you attempt something, you'll never know whether you'll be successful or not. And when I say quote-unquote successful, I think it should be self-dictated. For the purposes of our conversation, let's just say success as manifested as making a living from what you're passionate about. So if you're an entrepreneur, so like, let me give you an example. When I was around 18, 19, 20 years old, my passion was street photography. And I'm like, oh, I really like this street photography thing. I wonder if I can make a living from it. And of course, everyone's like, oh, Eric, you know, if you want to make a living from street photography, you're crazy. That's not possible. You're essentially going to fail. And it's not that other people are being sinister or mean. It's just, there's no precedent, is that if there was really nobody else, at least I know, that was making a living from street photography. So of course, like, people, they have a hard time reasoning that it actually might be possible, because most people reason by analogy. They don't think about first principles thinking. First principles thinking is like a physics principle. Is like, you gotta ask yourself, not whether it's probable or not, is whether it's physically possible. So of course, you know, you could physically make a living from street photography. It just may be hard and difficult. And I also think that if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, you need to have an appetite for risk and going against the grain. And when I say spurn pleasing others, what I mean to say is that first focus on pleasing yourself, because the more you try to focus on pleasing yourself, the more you're going to be able to stay true to your own unique artistic vision, and the more likely you are to innovate and create something new. So you don't really know what you're capable of until you try it. And the world, and this is just like a philosophical principle too, is that I think in order for us to evolve and take it to the next level as a human race, we need to attempt new things. We can't just kind of look at old formulas and follow what has worked well for other people. So, I've read so many self-help books and books on innovation and business, but the problem is that it doesn't really help you think that innovatively, because you're just essentially looking at the success of what other people have done and trying to use that as a blueprint. And once again, there's no blueprint to what you consider successful in your own mind, because all of us, we have a different concept or view of success, what success means to us. And this is why I think it's important for us to figure out, like, we must define what success means to us. So for me, success is just, doing what you love, what you're passionate about, and not being homeless. So to me, it just means to be able to cover my basic needs, pay my rent, pay my coffee and my food, my egg snacks, and that's pretty much it. And know that it's okay to spurn pleasing others, because I think ultimately the point of, this is of course just my opinion, I think the purpose of life is to empower others, to empower humanity, to help people in the modern day, like people living in today's society, and also future generations of humanity. But in order to do that, you must first seek to empower yourself and help yourself. So once again, just as a motivation, if you have an idea for a crazy idea for starting your own business or pursuing your passion or something in life, don't ask other people whether they think it's a good idea or not, because if it's a new idea, of course everyone's going to say it's a bad idea. My suggestion, and this is hard, is follow your own gut, follow your own soul. If it seems like a good idea to you, even though it's scary, just realize that what's the maximum downside? The maximum downside is, will you realistically go bankrupt? Will you realistically become homeless? What's your backup option? Can you move in back with your parents or stuff like that? And then once you could pre-identify what your maximum downside is, it's going to be a lot less scary, and then you're going to be able to attempt new things in life. You're going to be able to just to have more fun with it and treat everything like a small experimentation. There is ultimately no non-reversible decisions. Everything is kind of reversible up to a certain point. So yeah, whatever your crazy idea is, just try to attempt it and just be consistent with it. My suggestion is, whatever your passion is, whether you have a full-time job or not, just attempt it a little bit more every single day. Maybe if your interest is starting your own YouTube channel, your own blog, just try to upload one new YouTube video a day. Doesn't have to be great, just put it out there. Or if you have an idea for a blog or some sort of something, write one blog post a day. I do believe in this Zen-like practice of practicing everything every single day and not striving for perfection, but rather this idea of quote be a satisficer, do something about like 80% good enough and just get it done and hit publish. And ultimately, once again, you could judge whether something's good or not based on how many other people like it or how many people follow or comment, blah blah, but rather your own self assessment of whether it's good or not. All right, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. Yeah, have faith in yourself. You got this. I believe in you. Peace out.